I got to give you two stories. I'm sorry, but first, I'm going to answer it from kind of a Buddhist perspective. Buddha once had two students that came to him. One, the uncle, he was really wise. He had studied things and he was intellectually very superior. But he brought his nephew along who was not that bright. And they both became disciples of the Buddha. And the story reads is that his nephew, Buddha had a hard time teaching because this kid had no memory whatsoever. And he couldn't sit right, he couldn't do any of it right. So Buddha taught him how to sweep the sidewalk. And he told him, all you need to do is say, sweep, sweep, repeatedly. It's all you do. And the story is that nephew actually reached a level of enlightenment where his uncle, who was so intellectually superior, did not. That's one way of looking at this. Even though you might practice Taiji incorrectly, you may not be doing it at the optimum level, you're still going to benefit. Now, let's take that into another kind of idea of looking at this, is that the movements of Taiji, the very premise of them, we once had a student, I won't say his last name, but his name was Rudy. He was an older gentleman that came to us. And he studied with us for about 2 years. And every time this guy came up, he would learn, like warding off left, the very beginning. And every week he came back, he couldn't remember it. 2 years of this. And one time TT brought it up to me. He said, Rudy, really, we have to do something so you can learn more postures. And Rudy said, probably one of the coolest things I ever heard somebody say. He said, why? He said, learning the way I am, my health, my blood pressure, everything is good. Why would I want to do it differently? He had the right attitude in the sense that he was benefiting from trying to remember this one posture. He didn't do it well, but he would incorporate things. He said sometimes he goes, I'd sit there and I'd just breathe and try to visualize it. He really worked hard at it. But at the end of he did eventually do warding off left pretty well after 2 years. But he didn't care about learning the entire form. What he cared about was getting this kind of benefit. His health got really good from doing this one thing. And Titi, he loved Rudy. He said, I wish all my students were like you. Because he really focused on, he couldn't do it well at all. He was not physically designed, whatever you want to say, to be good at Taiji. But he was good at making himself healthy with it. That's a hard thing to explain, but so you got to look at this from. I never sit here and try to judge people by how great their skills in Taiji are. No, it really has to do with this kind of mental, as Titi called it, accomplishment. There's 4 things you learn Taiji for your health. You can learn it for self-defense, mental accomplishment, and then what they call immortality. 4 stages of Taiji. And mental accomplishment is really critical. Really critical. So that's what Rudy did. He mentally accomplished Taiji with just one posture. Okay?
I love
So
that. Thank you. Because, yeah, I think that this course can be a little bit intimidating. And
Yeah,
so I love that, it's just no matter what you do, you're going to get a benefit from it. And you're going to, yeah, it's not about like how much you learn and, how rigorous and detailed you are. But so that's awesome.